Hello everyone, welcome back to the shop. I'm doing some more work on the Ruston Hornsby diesel. I decided a little bit late to make this video, so I've already done a bit, but I figured it would still be helpful to some people out there working on big engines and making a foundation for them, a concrete foundation. In my previous video I showed you how I measured the distances between all the holes, all the bolt mounting holes, even though there was stuff in the way. I had those little pucks and a caliper I made. So now the next step is to make a bolt framework that will be cast into the concrete foundation to accurately align the bolts so you can drop the engine down on it. And here it is. I'm probably about 3/4 done. So I'll just explain the bits and pieces that go into this, that have gone into this. This is an important part here, these pipes. As you see, the threaded rods for the studs are coming out of the pipes, and those threaded rods are anchored down on the bottom here on this angle iron. The concrete will come up here to the top of the pipe. The purpose of this pipe is to allow for any misalignment. If you measure wrong or just whatever the case may be, you can bend this threaded rod back and forth probably about 1/2 inch or so in any direction. This is, in this case, this is 2-inch iron pipe, a 1-inch threaded stud, and this is probably about I think 3.5 by 3.5 angle iron. And a benefit of using this angle iron, I suppose you could use flat bar too, but angle iron of course is stiffer. You have a nice straight corner to measure off of. So there's one of your datum points, I guess you can call it. So in the case of this, all these 3 studs are directly in line, but on this side that far stud is in by 3/8 of an inch. So for these, in this example, for this one and the middle stud, I just drilled the hole right in the middle of the angle iron. And then this was going to be 3/8 of an inch in. So the measurement I was using to go from the edge to the center of the hole, I just added 3/8 of an inch to that and moved that in and drilled that hole there. So that each angle iron runner here takes care of whatever side-to-side variation there may be for the location of the studs. And of course this way you can drill the hole wherever you want. That takes care of the whatever variance there is this way. So I laid out the holes, measured, remeasured, drilled them, and that is where my wonderful Camelback drill press came into use. A nice big low-speed drill. But at any rate, drilled the holes, and I put the threaded rods in. I nutted them on both sides. Of course, one nut is hidden here, but you can see the other nut. Once I verified the position and heights of everything, you can see I tack welded the nut to the angle iron and the threaded rod to the nut. So now this threaded rod can't spin. Even though the bottom of that threaded rod is going to be in concrete, I just didn't want to take any chances. Then I had these pieces of pipes cut, or I cut them myself. I didn't use an angle iron or a chop saw or anything. I used a proper pipe cutter. That way it ensures that I get a perfectly flat or a perpendicular cut. So this top surface of the cut is perpendicular to the sides, and that really helps for alignment. Then, with the threaded rods fastened on to the angle iron, I clamped these cross pieces just with some vice grips, and that one over there as well. Clamped those cross pieces on, and then I measured, because you don't want these 2 bolts, for example, you don't want them to be cocked one way or the other. Or in the case of these 4, these 4 are square. Actually it's kind of a rectangle, but it is a regular 90-degree cornered rectangle, and you don't want a parallelogram. So First, I aligned it distance-wise from one side to the other, both on that one, or that pair and this pair. And again, I used my handy calipers that I made for measuring the bolt spacing on the engine. So I got left to right taken care of. Then I measured corner to corner. And since I know that the measurements make again a 90-degree angled or cornered rectangle, I know that corner to corner is going to be the same both directions. So I did that, and I made sure they were square. I couldn't do that corner to corner trick on this set, on the further set of 4, because again that last one is inset. So you have to modify these instructions as your engine may be. But at any rate, with these cross pieces here vice gripped on, and I used vice grips so things can slide a little bit, I aligned everything and adjusted the way it should be. Then I welded them in. Next, I welded on these pipes. I made just a short little chunk of pipe to slide down here, and I aligned it X and Y so it's perfectly centered, and I just drew a circle with some paint marker so I knew when I put this big pipe down I knew how to center it. Now when I put the pipe down, it aligned vertically fairly well, but sometimes with some of these this stud was off to one side or the other. So what I did there is on the side where the stud was closest to the pipe, let's say right here, facing the camera, right here, let's say it was closest here, I welded, tack welded right there first. That tack weld is going to pull the pipe this way and make this space bigger. Then as the weld cooled, you could watch that pipe move. Then I adjusted it, kind of held it by hand, tacked it on the opposite side, and then adjusted it again if need be, sometimes with a hammer. Did 2 more tacks, 90 degrees from the first 2, 180 from each other. Verified that they were on center again, beat it with a hammer if I needed to, and once it was fairly well aligned and centered with the bolt as it came out up here, I welded it all the way around. So now the studs are what would you say, coaxially in line with the pipes, but due to a number of variances, you know, the angle iron may not be perfectly straight, it might be corkscrewed a bit or something. These pipes bowed out or in or one way or another, so the measurement between here and there may be correct, but the measurement from up here to there may not be. So I can't even say I made, but I set up this little puller with a turnbuckle and some chains. I tried using a ratchet strap, but one click of the ratchet strap was too much, so this allows nice fine adjustment. So I turned this turnbuckle in or out. Well, actually so far these needed to be pulled in. If I needed to push out, I would have to use a jack or some wedges or something. I haven't needed to do that yet. Then once they were aligned correctly, again I used my big calipers. I just measured down there until I had a slight drag between the caliper tips, moved it up here for the same adjustment. Then before I welded this cross piece on, I measured the most important measurement, the bolt to bolt distance, and made sure that jived with the proper measurement. Then once that was checked, I welded on the cross piece. So I've done 2 upper cross pieces so far, one here, one there. I'm going to do one more over here, and then once that's done, I'm going to do the same thing but going this direction to make sure everything is aligned properly. And that's that. I'm going to put some washers on top of here with nuts just to cap off the top of the pipe so concrete doesn't fall down there when it's being poured and leveled off. And that's it really. I considered, and you may want to do this for one reason or another, I considered putting a jacking screw on the bottom so that it could be leveled, you know, in place before everything gets poured. But I'm not going to do that. It's going to be fine as it is. And if we need to, we can just put a shim under a leg or two here or there to make it proper. But that's it. That's the next step in the Ruston Hornsby project. Thanks for watching, everybody. And you know the deal. Hit the subscribe and like button and keep up to date with what's going on. Thanks for watching, and come on back for more.